I'm going to bring somebody to the stage that is not ooh and gross, that has put this whole show together. So let's make a lot of noise because she likes it and she can't hear. Let's put our hands together for Abby November. She's tall, and I'm taking off my hearing aids because they don't do shit. All I do is hear dead presidents. I am not a crook. That's before your time. Is he dead? I don't know, but he keeps getting up. Anyway, it's good to see you. It's good to be here. I was in Denver, Colorado, visiting, well, actually getting my medicinal marijuana, but that's another story. But I was visiting my, yeah, I know. You look like you had a hit before you came here. What's your name? That's why you were late.
No, I want 20 blocks.
You did not. You were out at that park getting a hit. What's your name, sweetie? Diane?
I'm here for Kat.
Kat's not here. You'll have this on the other fat old lady. Yeah, I know. You'll have to go with that fat old lady, okay? I was home church. That was her bit. Okay, now you heard Kat, now you're stuck with me. 75% of people waiting for planes at airport have sex to while away the time. Man, did I waste money on magazines and newspapers. You hear that, Buster? That's terrible, isn't it?
No, yeah.
Yes, it is, right. Is that what you do? You're one of the 75%? You look like you were. Do what, David? What did she? They were having sex. I'm buying a magazine, I'm buying People magazine, and they're screwing their brains out waiting for the plane. I have to tell, do you know I was randomly checked at the airport 4 times because I went to Texas, then I went back to Colorado, and I got patted down, the whole works, even though I'm TSA pre-approved, because look at me. Do I look like a risk? Don't answer that. Patted down, random, and I had statistics. Random does not mean every time. And they said, well, we're going to pat you down now. And then this big woman comes over and pats me down, and I said, I want him to, I'm pointing to the young guy with the camera, I want him to pat me down. Oh no, we have to have a woman to a woman. I said, well, she hasn't turned me on in the last 3 times. Can't I have a man? And she thought I was really funny, but she really gave me, she went into my hoo-ha, and she, I said, I'm wearing, it wasn't an 18-hour, it was, what do they call it? Something, holding up the girls, and I said, and then she did my, don't look at me like that, mister. This is true. She said, do you want a private room? I said, why? Are you going to buy me dinner and take me to a movie? She says, you know, this is not a joke. National security. I said, national security, my ass. And meanwhile, my husband, my trophy husband, is far away from me. So keep your mouth shut. I said, Abdullah, with a schmonzer on his head, just walked through with a string hanging out of his ass, and you're patting down an old Jew. Does this make sense to you? That's not, and this is true. And then there's a woman, and I'm not a racist, I'm a racist because I prefer brown rice, but this woman, she must have been 12, she had a baby and one on the way, and I love babies as long as they're not mine, she had a 2-baby stroller, Karen, 2-baby stroller, right? There's a baby in the stroller, she's pregnant, and she had a schmonter on her head, not that I mind that. And I'm thinking, if I was a security guard and I saw a 2-baby stroller and only 1 baby, would it not be suspicious? Would you not look for the other child? No, I gotta fondle an old Jew. That's how I get my rocks off. Find all the old Jews that have boobs down to the floor. Yeah. And I have another complaint. JCPenney. I want to boycott JCPenney for us women buying clothes that say Sag Harbor. And we buy them. What are we, schmucks? Sag Harbor. Why didn't you just call it my tips are having a race to the floor, and I don't know who's going to get down there first. What is wrong with this country? And this other handsome comic was talking about political correctness. I don't give a damn. I'm old enough. I get randomly fondled and brutalized every time I go through the airport, and I'm sick of it, and I'm going to call a rice because that's the way I feel about it, and I'm sticking to that. And I really hope other people take up the cause. Yes, and political correctness, and it's the 2016 debates, and then this ridiculous race to the White House. I think they need an old Jewish woman in the office right now. And don't say a woman. I want to be the president. We need a clown in the White House. We've had everything else. Everything else. None of the bills. Put me in the office. I've already been felt up and brutalized. I had the cavity search. I'm clean. I can't believe what's going on. We had Obamacare. In theory, it's a great idea. We have some doctors here. Shake your heads if you agree. I see you. He's shaking his head like a bobblehead. You too. I know you're a psychiatrist. I've seen you for my med check. And Obama did not take care of two important groups, especially downtown, Diane. The homeless and the hungry, right? Nothing's done about them. November care. Vote for me for the White House. November care. I will have the hungry eat the homeless. I know it's not nice to make fun of the homeless. I'm not. This is just a fact. What's wrong with that? It's a fact. In another life, I have a doctorate. I'm a nutrition PhD. But then the 60s were very good to me, if you know what I mean. And so I don't want, I had a private practice, but I don't want a private practice anymore. I'm Dr. Abby. I don't want a private practice if you think you can come to me and say that, oh, I'm not fat, I have big bones, because that's bullshit. You don't have big bones. Well, you need a large ass to carry around that big frame. Or if you come to me and you say, well, I'm retaining water, and then I say, Hoover Dam? Listen, I used to tell my overweight, obese patients, eat, eat, you're nothing but skin and bones. They love me. If somebody wants to eat, let them eat. Does it hurt? No. My grandmother's rule of nutrition was, if you eat in the dark while standing, you'll never gain weight. My grandmother, Bertha November, may she rest in peace, had the technique for treating diabetics by diet. If you wash the potatoes and you wash the rice, you get rid of all the sugar and the taste. But that's what she believed. She and my grandfather were married for over 50 years, and people would ask him, Jack, how did you stay with Bertha for 50 years? And he'd say two things. My friend Jack Daniels, and a hearing aid I could turn off. My grandpa had a bottle of Jack Daniels and Jim Beam, one on each side of the bed. Yeah, that's sad, isn't it? Did you ever take a bath, Diane?
No, I just sweat.
You just sweat? From walking so far? I noticed that because you went and sat up front. But that's okay. I have cologne. I usually use that. It sprays. I too rode the New York subway, like Simon. And it's like a speed dating program, if anybody went on these speed dating programs. But talking about that, I was talking about going on a cruise. No cruises for you? Well, sorry to see you go. I hope it wasn't something I said. Oh, she said that old Jew making fun of Jews. I don't know how she gets on stage with that language. Bye, Mom. Okay. So, I went on the Oasis of the seas. It has 6,000 people on this ship. Isn't that something? It is so big, it took a week just to leave the port of San Diego. That's how long it was. And you have to rent a Hertz car when you get on board to take you to the dining room. But Heather, what's really great is in the middle of the ship, they have a replica, that means duplicate, David. In the middle of the ship, they have a replica of Central Park, complete with a lake and squirrels, and to make it authentic, they brought in homeless people and piped in the odor of fresh urine. Boy, did I get homesick for New York. I know there's some Bostonians here, I don't want to forget about you, but when I was working in a hospital, people would say, oh, you talk funny, and this was Boston. You're not from around here. And then one guy said, because I was hot, yeah, I was really hot and melted, and he said, want to go potty? What are you, a pervert? You get off watching women wee-wee? I don't care what you say about John Kerry, he's a hell of a tipper. Before I leave you, I want to see if anybody had grandchildren or were a grandchild. My granddaughter grabs this. Bubby, because that's what she calls me. What is that? And I said, it's a flotation device. Will I get one when I'm very old? Only if you inhale. Then she tells me this. You shouldn't wear underpants to sleep because your vagina won't breathe. That's why I keep oxygen by my bed. But my genius grandson's in the pool with me, and that's got to scare him. He's this little tiny kid looking at this body in a bathing suit. I mean, that's enough to, anyway. And he's looking and he's looking and he said, Bubby, what are those blue lines all over your legs? But I'm fast. I said, you know how I get lost when I drive? I have the map of San Diego tattooed on my legs. Here's the zoo, here's where we live, and there's Tijuana. And I'm bringing back Miss Jennifer, the sexiest MC in